Greetings. This devotion is for the 12th of November, and our reading for this day comes from the 6th chapter of Ezekiel, verses 11 through 14. Thus says the Lord God, clap your hands and stamp your foot and say, Alas, for all the vile abominations of the house of Israel. For they shall fall by the sword, by famine, and by pestilence. Those far off shall die of pestilence, and those nearby shall fall by the sword. And any who are left who are spared shall die of famine. Thus I will spend my fury upon them, and you shall know that I am the Lord. When their slain lie among their idols, around their altars, on every high hill, on the mountain tops, under every green tree and every leafy oak, wherever they offered pleasing odor to all their idols, I will stretch out my hand against them and make the land desolate and waste. Throughout all their settlements, from the wilderness to Arbela, then they shall know that I am the Lord. So, firstly, we've got to understand sometimes biblically they talk not necessarily that these exact things are going to happen, but they talk kind of in phrases to indicate bigger concepts, and that's the case now. It isn't that these kinds of things that are specifically here happened, but what was going on here, right, is that the people of Israel were taking God for granted for whatever reason, and that goes all over the place. There's a whole large story here that I don't have time for now, but they were taking God for granted, doing what they wanted, just assuming they had God so they could get away with what they wanted to get away with, and that's kind of what it was, right? Now, to be sure, in no case can we ever say that God abandoned God's people. Nevertheless, there are consequences for taking a relationship with God for granted, or for that matter, any relationship. Think about it. If relationships are taken for granted, what happens? They're harmed, feelings are hurt, and the benefit of that relationship tends to be lost. No. And what they're talking about in very graphic terms in Ezekiel is what happens when the benefit of that relationship with God is lost. God will never leave us. But we can't know the benefit of God unless we work at that relationship with our God. That is the call here. Never to take that for granted. Never to think, I got God, I'm good to go. You do have God. But work at that relationship so you know God's peace. Share with me in Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not be in want. The Lord makes me lie down in green pastures and leads me beside still waters. You restore my soul, O Lord, and guide me along right pathways for your name's sake. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, and my cup is running over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.